You may begin.
Good morning, Mr. Hall. My name is Mrs. Jarvis. I'll be your counsel for today.
Thank you.
Now, you know we're doing court very soon.
Yes, I know.
Right, but I just wanted to ask you a few questions just to clarify a few matters, make sure I have all the information that I need, and also just to discuss your case in general and to explain to you what's going to happen. And of course, if you have any questions that you could ask me as well.
Okay.
All right? Okay. So, some of the questions that I will ask you will be based on the interview that you're given in the police station, and some of them will be based on the statement you're given to your solicitor. You remember doing those two things, right?
Yes, I do.
Very well. All right. So, Mr. Hall, could you just describe for me as clearly as you can the exact nature of your business?
I run a second-hand shop. And like I've said before, or it's stated in there, that it can range from anything.
So it's miscellaneous items.
Miscellaneous items.
Okay.
It could be something cheap. I'm looking to make a profit.
Right.
I dabble in a bit of antiques, but it makes a profit.
Okay. And how long have you been operating this business?
8 years.
8 years. Do you advertise a lot?
Yes, when possible. Concerning this incident, I've just made some small posters that I've done up on my own little computer and distributed about in Arnold, in Bulwell, in different areas.
Okay, so you did advertise recently?
Yes, I did.
Okay, very well. And these were the flyers you said?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay. Based on the length of time that you've been running your business, you would have done quite a bit of advertising over the years, I would take it?
Yes, just general posters that I've made up and distributed about the place.
So your business is fairly well known in the community?
Yes, I should hope so. I'm doing all right.
Okay, good. Oh, so well, that I was just about to ask you how your business has been doing, especially recently.
It's because of recently, Christmas is always my busiest period, and around this time, and that's partly why I didn't get back in contact with Mrs. Edwards. I've just been so busy.
So business has been good?
Yes.
Okay, very well. And regarding your customers, how would you usually come into contact with them? Would they come to your store? Would you make house visits? What's the normal mode?
I don't just call in on people. People would phone me, people would drop into the shop. Those are my general ways of contacting people. They would contact me, say they've got items for sale, or even people just dropping in and bringing stuff to the shop and say, would I be interested in this?
Okay, so you would have no reason just to go to someone's house just like
I won't have time. It doesn't make any financial sense for me to just knocking on people's doors randomly.
Okay, so does that mean that on a daily basis you're in the shop alone, you don't have anyone helping you?
No, I don't. If I go to collect something which is rather large, I have 2 young lads that will come and help me occasionally.
Okay.
I will call them and say, look, I've got wardrobes, some antique wardrobes.
So generally you're there alone, so you really have no reason to be closing the shop and walking around?
And knocking on doors, it just
Okay.
doesn't make financial sense or practical sense.
Very well. Okay, now regarding the arrangement that you have with the valuer, the art valuer, when you did your police interview, well, you didn't give his name.
Yes.
So I would like to know his name because that's very important.
That is part of the problem. I know him. I meet him at auctions.
Yes.
Meet him at antique fairs and so forth. I know him as David, just for his business. He's very well dressed, he's very well mannered.
So you don't know his last name?
I don't know his last name. It has never come up in conversation.
How long have you two had this arrangement? In terms of
going on for 4 to 5 years. But
and all that time you didn't know his last name?
I don't think he knows mine. It's just on a business. There's a couple of other guys. He comes down, he comes into the shop. What we're doing, we'll chat about kids, we'll chat about furniture, we'll chat about, but
and have you ever had an occasion to visit him where he operates from?
No.
So all you know that he works for an auction house in London.
Auction house, because he's continually on the move, bits here and there. I suppose it's sort of an ad hoc relationship. He comes in, if I've got something, he's come in and he's bought an item or two occasionally.
Yes.
He's come in, I've had some stuff and he says, I think that's worth or something, so he'll go and take it away and have it valued for me.
So, on the day in question, when you had gotten the Rouge painting from Mrs. Edwards,
Yes.
how did he get the painting?
He came into the shop.
So he happened to have come that day?
Yeah, he came into the shop. I should immediately showed it him because I was interested in it. I'd seen one at the auction house that sold for £1,000. It's just the artist, all I know is the artist.
Okay.
Yeah.
So he took it with him?
Yes, he was a lot interested in it and said he had seen one sold for £1,500 recently, but he needed to check it out first.
And how long did he tell you this would take?
There's no set date for, he usually comes down once a month. I would have expected him to see him within the next couple of weeks or week or so.
Okay, so if he takes something from you, you usually wait a few weeks before he comes back with the item?
Yes.
Okay, all right. Now, tell me something. When you, Mrs. Edwards now, because her contention
Yes.
is that you had knocked on her door and you had indicated that you were basically advertising your business, and that's the reason how you ended up in her home, and then you got into the conversation about painting, right? But is that the case?
No, not at all.
So how did you come into contact with Mrs. Edwards?
I received some calls after my promotional push. I received some calls. I got a call from Mrs. Edwards from working out the dates would have been the 3rd. I arranged to visit her on the 4th.
Okay, so during that phone call, the arrangement was made for you to visit her the next day.
Yes, that's
So
correct.
that's how you came to
Yes.
to her house. Okay. And what did you discuss while you were there?
Good gosh, the conversation, I find that I get quite a few calls from the elderly, but when you get there,
Yes.
because they are quite lonely, a few of them, not
Yes.
all of them, a
But
few
some
of
of
them,
them.
yeah, they tend to, somebody coming in and having a chat with them, they tend to want to keep you there a bit longer just for the conversation.
So she discussed several
It's
things with
usually
you?
covered everything, a daughter, a husband, a wedding, all these sort of things were discussed,
Okay.
even before we got to the,
To talking about the painting.
yes.
And how was her state of mind? Did she seem, did her faculties all seem to be there? Did she?
I don't like sort of,
But she is elderly.
she's elderly, she seemed to repeat a lot of things. Like we would talk about her husband, especially about her husband. She would talk about her husband and 5 minutes later she would repeat
the same thing
about her husband.
Oh, okay, all right, very well. Okay, so about the conversation that you had with the painting, had you given her value at that time?
No, I said I couldn't give a proper value because I don't know the value.
Mm-hmm.
And all I said was I've seen a Rouge painting sell for £1,000.
Yes.
So that was like a guidance. It wasn't a valuation.
Okay, all right. And in terms of her actually giving you the painting
Yes.
to have it valued, how did that come about?
The whole
What was the reason why she gave it?
the whole thing about it was she says she wanted to sell something to make up for a shortfall in her pension. She was falling short,
Okay.
and she thought selling some of her items could ease her burdens.
Did you give her a price in terms of what your services would be worth?
I says that it would be 2.5% of the total value.
Mm-hmm. You had said that to her?
Yes, but this was the kind of says that there was special rate for pension. It would be 2.5% of the total value
okay.
when we come to say.
Okay. And how long did you tell her you would have the painting?
I didn't give her a time limit.
You didn't?
I did not give her.
And this is because of the arrangement you have With David.
Yes. So I couldn't give.
So you never told her within a week you would return the
That
painting to her?
would be impossible because if David hadn't come in, if I hadn't seen him that day, it would have been about contacting him, getting the painting to him, and him getting the painting back down to me. That would never have been done in a week.
Okay, fair enough. And when you left, you left a piece of paper with her?
Yes.
And what was on that paper?
My phone number and my address.
Your phone number and your address of your business?
A business, yes. My name and my phone number.
Okay. Now, in terms of the whole incident, when the police would have come to your shop,
yes.
So prior to that, you'd have taken the painting. It just so happened the same day David came.
Yes.
He told you he had to take it to get it authenticated, so he took it from you.
Yes.
And sometime after, I guess some weeks after, the police came to your shop.
That's correct.
And when the police came, what did the police say to you exactly?
Do I know Gloria Edwards? I think that was basically asked me about a painting, and I told them
that you didn't have it.
I told them I didn't have it.
Right.
Yeah, but I told them exactly the same sort of thing as I'm telling you. That David took the painting. I had gone to see Mrs. Edwards on a arranged visit. I took the painting, I gave it to David, and I'm waiting for David to return.
Okay, all right. In the statement you gave your solicitor, you mentioned you had lost your phone.
Yes.
And that's the same phone you use for business and so on, right?
Yes.
So it seems Mrs. Edwards was trying to reach you during the time when you lost the phone.
Yes.
Okay, and you've since gotten another phone.
Yeah,
but not the same number.
No, because
why is that?
the phone I had, I'm not phone savvy. I didn't have insurance on my first phone. Didn't have any insurance. It was just through, I think it was through Tesco. I was getting all kinds of problems. When I went to get another phone, they were talking about weeks and putting up a contract to get me the same number. So I just went to Phones of Us.
And got a different
number. Got a phone. It was simpler, it was easier.
But didn't you think that would affect your business?
I know, but it was either doing that or waiting weeks for get that number back and costing me extra for doing so.
Okay, because that was something that I thought would have raised some bit of a red flag for the prosecution.
Yeah.
Because it would seem odd that someone who runs a business loses the phone and that number is attached to the business.
Yes.
And instead of getting the same number, they get a different number. But you've explained to me why you had to get...
just because of the provider. Sometimes when you go away from the main providers, the services aren't as great.
Okay, very well. Okay, all right. I have a general understanding of what would have transpired on the particular day and so on, and why it is you would have had the painting in your possession, and why when the police came you didn't have the painting in your possession. All right. One of the things that I was looking at was that the prosecution might try to get phone records to see if during the time that you said that you lost your phone, if there wasn't any activity on your phone. Right. But you've explained exactly what happened and why you have a new number. So you do intend to plead not guilty, am I correct in saying that?
That's correct.
That's
would it be better, should I give evidence?
Well, your story sounds very plausible in my opinion. The questions that I've asked you are some of the questions that the other side would have asked you, and you've given a plausible answer in my opinion to those questions. So I don't see any reason why you shouldn't give evidence. And as a matter of fact, there isn't anybody else who could speak for you. You are the best person to explain what happened on the day and why this is and why this happened and why this didn't happen. So I think that would be wise. All right?
Okay.
So do you have any other questions or any reservations?
I
You seem a bit skeptical.
Yeah, I was just about...
Are you concerned?
I'm concerned. So.
But you are speaking the truth, aren't you?
I'm speaking the truth. I'm just thinking of... Because it's all not circumstantial. It sounds like a bit
Well, that's it. If it's circumstantial,
Yeah.
and they're the ones that are saying that you did something. So if it's circumstantial, they have to prove everything.
So
Right.
would it be better for me to say that Mrs. Edwards gave me the painting as a present for me?
But why would you say that? Did she give it to you as a present?
No.
So why would you go to court and say that? That would not be wise, and
Okay.
it wouldn't be the truth. I'm assuming that everything you've told me here today is the truth.
It is the truth.
You didn't steal the painting from
No.
her, did you?
No, not at
She
all.
gave it to you to have it valued,
That was all.
and you
as
never
I
told
said.
her you would return in a week
No.
because based on the logistics of everything,
It was
would
totally
not have been
impossible.
possible.
It's impossible.
you lost your phone.
Yes.
You explained the hassle that you were getting to get back your number, your old number.
Yeah.
So you went for a new number.
And I've been trying to put out the advertising.
Okay.
and
So there would be no reason for you to go to the court and say that she gave it to you as a present.
Okay.
That definitely would be lying, and I would not encourage that.
Okay.
All right. So when we go to court, we are going to what we call a pre-trial preparation hearing, and basically it's just some preliminary matters that they're going to deal with, and that's when they're going to take your plea. So at the appropriate time, when you are asked to stand and you are asked to ask how you plead, you would say
Not guilty.
not guilty, and the process would flow from there. All right. So
Okay.
that's basically what would happen today. The trial wouldn't necessarily begin today. Just some preliminary matters are going to take place today. All right.
Okay.
You have any other questions for me?
No, not at the
Are you
present
sure?
time. No.
Is there anything that you forgot to tell me that you would wish to add? Just in the event that it might change the scope of things, or
No.
pretty much what you told me is how things happen and how you recall?
Yeah, that was the whole process of it going through them for few weeks. Yes.
Okay, all right. Well then, that concludes what we have to discuss. So we are going to await word when it's time for us to go into the courtroom. And I would have already indicated to you what I would have needed you to do in terms of when you plead guilty. So you would just take your seat, be quiet, be respectful, and whenever you're asked how you plead not guilty.